My name is Dan Dow, and I'm an epidemiologist, and I'm really into design and presentation, and mainly looking at how can you make presentations clearer for your audience. So this is going to be a short series of videos talking about things I do for my presentations, and then looking at other presentations and what are good and what do they do very well that you can pick up too. And one of my biggest pet peeves, and I think the biggest issue in most slides I see, are visibility. So last year I was at a baseball game and I was looking at the signs in the baseball game, and it's pretty clear when you're at a baseball game, there's some signs that are too small and then some signs are big enough for you to see. So here's me in the stands and I can clearly see this Geico sign. I can see this golf sign, but there's some signs up here that are pretty small and are probably pretty hard to see. So there's actually a way to do this right, and it's called visibility. The signs that are bigger, clearly they want to see from farther away, and the signs that are smaller, you're going to have to be closer up to. So when I go to a presentation and I see a slide like this, something's going wrong. And the thing that's going wrong is that a lot of people in the room can't really read the small text right here. So the smaller text right here is difficult for people to read in the room, and that should never happen. And this is one of my biggest pet peeves, because you can control the size of your text. You can control everything on a slide. So when you create a slide, no one in the room should ever say, I can't read what's on the slide. That should be taken care of first. And if you ever have a slide that you think something can't be read, you have to fix that slide, because that's the most important thing. If people can't read it, there's no reason you should even put the slide up. So if you want to think about people who do this really well, you can look at the news. And the news has to do it really well, because if they have to make a product with people who can read, if you watch the news and you can't read what's on the screen, you're probably not going to watch a lot of it, or you're going to be pretty angry at them saying, why would they put text up that you couldn't read? But when we go to presentations, we don't think the same way. So here you're going to see that the sizing expert predicts gas prices will go up in 2014. It's pretty easy to read when you're right where I am, which is right in front of the computer screen. But if this is going to be on a TV and I was 10 feet away, it's also going to be readable there. So what are the general rules that I use? So the general rule that I use, and like going back to this, is, and we're going to redo the slide right here so it's going to be more visible. The general rule that I use is just to make my minimum font size is 25. And here I'm using a Google Docs, a presentation feature in Google Docs, and taking that same slide from this, taking that same data from this other slide, moving it over. You can see here, all I did was, instead of making those two, and where originally this was too small, I just took out all the text and then put it onto two slides. It also cut this out. So this is something you're probably going to say: selected measures were reviewed and rated by measurement for experts using rating criteria. So I just cut that out. And this is probably something you're going to say, and we'll go over that later about what you should put in a slide and what you shouldn't put in a slide. But these things you're probably going to need to put into a slide. You're going to need that text there. So all I did was put the minimum size at 25 and then cleaned it up so no background or anything. And we're also going to go out into the future also, but this makes it so everyone in the room, in the front of the room, in the back of the room, can read this text. And there's another worry. So if you're in a really big room and you're worried about the size of the room and you're worried about what size text you need, a good way to address this is to go to the room and then measure the exit sign. So the exit sign in each room is something that you have to be able to see from almost everywhere in the room. So the exit sign is going to be the right size text. And then put your presentation up on the screen and see, is the minimum font or the smallest font in your presentation around that size. It can be a little bit smaller, but it shouldn't be too much smaller, because that's kind of like your gold standard for how big your font should be. So I hope that helps. If you're making a presentation, remember minimum size font is 25, and if you're going to be in bigger rooms, make sure that that may have to go up, or that may have to go down in some smaller rooms. But a really good rule of thumb is 25 point font. So this is going to be the first video, and there's going to be a couple more, and I hope you guys stick around. So like this video and subscribe to my channel if you guys want to see more of these presentation videos. Thanks. And also, if you have any comments about what you do for your slides and some things you want to see addressed, please leave them in the comments. Thanks. Bye.